So, a full-on gameplay trailer for Insomniac's Spider-Man 2 has just been revealed, and by God, it was the savior of the lame-ass PlayStation showcase. Hello everyone, Devil Joe here, and I'm coming at you with a different video from my usual hack and slash content. Because other than liking action games a lot, I'm also a huge Spider-Man fanboy since birth. So I'll be analyzing the footage that Insomniac blessed a lot of us true believers with, along with giving my 2 cents on the footage. I'll even be giving away some of my predictions for how the plot will pan out. Alright, so right off the bat, this trailer starts off by giving us a full-on face reveal of a disappointed Kraven who kills off an older hunter because, well, the prey was too easy for him. Till one of his goons tells him, boss, how about heading off to New York? There's plenty of cattle there. Then we get to see a map view of the entirety of New York City, including Brooklyn and Queens. Funny that in Spider-Man PS4, all the carnage was going down in Manhattan, and everybody in Queens and Brooklyn were just chilling. So yeah, the open world just got bigger. Then we find ourselves in Queens at Dr. Connors' house, raided by Kraven's goons, till holy shit, Bully, or should I say murderous intent Yuri Lowenthal, blasts out of the trap basement door like an absolute menace, proving Jameson right. Cutting straight into unadulterated symbiote combat, and by God, Parker is an absolute savage with the black goo. First off, we got large-scale prototype tentacles that Peter uses to smash the hunter goon into that jeep. He even has an AoE dash attack, TKOing any gang member that it comes into contact with, ending in an air launcher for some added air combos. That takedown is too brutal to be something that good old Wen Head would do. He even has Symbiote Royal Guard, and the final takedown with the 4 tentacles must have been something ripped straight from Prototype, giving me the feeling that this game is already the second coming of Web of Shadows. But them hentai Oni-chan tentacles seem to have a limiter on them, like the focus bar from PS4 Spider-Man and the Venom blasts from Miles Morales, that can be charged by skillful play. On the topic of Miles, the game is allowing you to switch between Peter and Miles, where we get to see our first look at the swinging mechanics, while witnessing the return of the web catapult that we had in Spider-Man 3, the movie tie-in game that had Bully Maguire in it. But other than a cutscene that takes you where the fuck ever on the map, you have full control of whichever Spider-Man you're playing as in the air. The web swinging looks a hell of a lot faster than it did in the last 2 games. Then boom, web wings pop out for gliding to give Spidey that forwards momentum to maintain a bit of that height, avoiding random pitfalls to continue swinging. After the fast swinging, we get a little preview of the stealth mechanics at play. Now you can shoot out web lines to walk on, something Insomniac took from the PC mods, and a sweet-ass double perch takedown, effectively subduing 2 enemies at the same time, along with this here web trap that webs 3 people at once. Followed up by Miles doing an electrically charged trick down teleport, more fast-paced combat, and boom, Miles just throws a Shinku Hadouken, web strike face smash as a takedown. He can even throw the Hadouken like his freaking Ryu from Street Fighter. Now let's get into my first concern with the game, and that's the walking through the ambience section. I know that Insomniac wants to set up some atmospheric pieces to get us into the feel of the lizard's threat, but why are you restricting my control of the greatest power set in all of comic book history, and you just decide to limit my use of these tools, letting me walk it out? I mean, it makes no sense to me. Then we get to see the lizard shed its skin, till Peter drops in from the ceiling like the Kool-Aid Man, with the symbiote to then have the lizard bust through the wall to have the hunters chase Connors down, with the Spider-Man following the pursuers. Once again showing off more fast-paced web swinging with both Peter and Miles, followed up with this Uncharted-ass looking set piece, with the lizard chasing Miles around, and the kid not wanting to be lizard food, that ends with the web heads finishing off the hunter tank. Now let's get into the good stuff, and there's plenty here. As a Spider-Man fanboy, I'm just loving how they changed up the symbiote's powers for this game. Instead of just doubling his strength, unlimited webs generated from the suit, now he can summon hentai Web of Shadows tentacles from the suit alone, even launching huge chunks of it, revealing his advanced suit underneath, till he puts the whole thing on, giving us a crap ton of fun tentacle attacks that are supposed to make the web head insanely overpowered. Yes, I know that Web of Shadows had a ton of tentacles that came with combo match strats, but come on, this looks fun. Symbiote Peter looks like he's more fun to play as than Miles. I legit hope that after beating the game, the symbiote becomes an unlockable that keeps its power set for New Game Plus runs, or out in the open world after beating the game for the very first time. Cause this shit looks like a blast! I wouldn't want to lose access to the suit as Peter after finishing the game, cause that would be an absolute bummer! Another thing about this game that just kicks a ton of ass is the fast-paced nature of the web swinging itself, with both Spider-Men. I mean, both of them were zipping across NYC's docks at lightning fast speeds. To top it all off, we got a long-forgotten traversal mechanic that was in the Sam Raimi Spider-Man 3 game, but better, giving you full air control over Peter or Miles, and adding web wings for the both of them to use for gliding, giving you some time before getting into the next swing. Sign me up! One thing to note about Miles' combat is that he's no slouch compared to Peter's slime outfit, comboing his invisibility and blue electricity to make his own teleportation effect, while going Raiden style on them thugs. And the stealth got some much needed quality of life improvements, like the web line good on Brian Idahar for taking some inspiration from the modding community. And that advanced trip mine, with the 3 webs, looks really damn helpful. The double perch takedown, I can legit see Spider-Man using something like that for stealth, since the web head is strong enough for it. Here's a few story predictions I got for the plot. The game has been heavily marketing Venom and Kraven to be the main villains of Spider-Man 2, but I have a feeling that both of these guys are nothing more than a distraction as to who the main big bad is. What made me come up with a proposed prediction? Well, Insomniac has done something very similar in the past with their marketing material for Spider-Man PS4, by highly advertising Mr. Negative as the main antagonist of that game. But in the final release, he was a focal point of the first half, till it was revealed that he was nothing more than a goon working for the actual big bad of the game, Doc Ock, manipulating everything from behind the scenes master planner style, showing that Otto Octavius was the one posing the large threat. So if that's the case, who's my prediction for the big bad? I'm guessing that it's most likely Norman Osborn as the Green Goblin. The writing is pretty much on the wall. If you look at Spider-Man PS4 when you sneak into Oscorp as MJ, you see the prototype for the Goblin helmet. Mary Lane Watson even comes across blueprints for the glider. Obvious foreshadowing for the horrors that Peter Parker will most likely face in Spider-Man 2, and by extension the Insomniac Spider-Man series, if they're going for that bit of comic book accuracy. Cause if anyone has ever been keeping up with Spider-Man comic lore, then you know the Green Goblin has become an absolute menace in Peter's life. Every bit of misery dealt to Spider-Man has been caused by Norman Osborn. He has done more damage to this guy's life, more than what Venom and Carnage could ever dream of doing. Other than the obvious killing Gwen Stacy off, even the way that has been done entails a crap ton of malicious intent. This guy has tortured him in the hopes of being an heir, on top of the other demonic shit the Goblin has ever done, which if I'd list all of it, we would be here forever. So in the Insomniac continuity, I have a feeling that Peter is trying to cure Harry at a much faster rate than Norman is. Then he fails, to be followed up by Norman going all Kratos mode on Spider-Man. So he ends up sending a bunch of assassins Spidey's way, Kraven being one of them, till he decides to go after him and everyone who he cared for, breaking him mentally before breaking him physically. In typical Osborn fashion, he has to attack the heart first before attacking the arachnid directly. And at some point he's gonna find out that Peter is Spider-Man. At some point. I'm guessing that in the final hours of the game, Norman is gonna bond with the symbiote and the symbiote is gonna be like, yeah, Normie, Peter is Spider-Man. They're both the same guy. So that's the major prediction that I have for the game's plot. Along with my thoughts on the gameplay, it's definitely gonna be a day one buy for me. So for that, I'll be ending the video here. In the midst of my action game content, I'll be putting out some Spider-Man related content to keep that Spider-Man 2 hype rolling. So be sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon for that. In the middle of my Devil May Cry 3 and God of War 3 streams, I'll be streaming Spider-Man PS4 on YouTube and Twitch. Be sure to be on the lookout for that. This has been the Devil Joe signing out.